Coach Tegan
and Coach Taylor
from Full Force Gymnastics. We just wanted to do this interactive video for you guys since we're missing this week. So this video is for our Novas and SuperNovas, that's our intermediate and advanced class. Since you guys are intermediate and advanced, there's not a lot we can do at home as far as like tumbling and bars and stuff like that. So we're just gonna give you guys some flexibility training. We got some exercises for you guys to do, and then just some things you can work on at home. We really suggest you guys go and watch the Shooting Stars video. That has more of the basic stuff that we do, but it will always help you to clean up the basics. You can never have too much of your cartwheels, your handstands, and things like that. So Coach Taylor is going to go over some flexibility training with you.
Alright, so like Coach Tegan said, we recommend that you guys go back and watch the Shooting Stars video because it has our total warm-up in it. But we're going to skip right into splits. Splits are very important, and we definitely strive for all of our competitive team gymnasts to have flat splits. There's a little bit more that goes into it than what we normally do in class, so we figured that this is the best time for you guys to work on it at home. So we're going to get into our basic split stretch. When you're down on your knee, you're going to stick one leg out in front of you. I recommend that you guys take your hands and reach past your foot. Try to put that nose to your knee, and you should really feel a deep stretch in the back of your leg, right in your hamstring area. Make sure that you're not sitting back like this. Reach forward and hold this. I would recommend that you guys hold this for the count of 15. Then from there, you're gonna put your hands on your hips, you're gonna push forward. One thing that I want you guys to check on that I tell my competitive team gymnasts is to make sure that this knee is straight behind you. Your knee isn't turned from one side or the other. It's in a straight line behind you as you push forward. Remember, when you're pushing forward in this position, you do not want your knee to be over your foot. So you don't want to be like this. This can cause knee injury. So you want to make sure that that leg is out in front of you some. You're pushing forward, and your goal here is to try to be in a split from knee to knee. You want your hands on your hips, and you want to kind of lean back a little bit. You can also feel that stretch down by your back and into your back leg. So you want to hold this for the same thing, count of 15, and then you're going to slide into your split. So when you slide into your split, you always want to slide forward. You never want to slide your back leg back. So you're going to slide forward into your split. You're going to try to get as flat as you can. You should hold this for the count of 10, and then you guys can try to reach forward and try to reach for your front foot and put your elbows on the ground and hold this for a count of 10, and then move into putting your arms back a little bit and opening up your chest, because this is a great leaping position. So a few things that you can work on further for your splits. I'm going to turn this so you guys can see. One thing that you want to work on when we're doing our splits is making sure that your hips are square when you're doing your split. So you don't want to be in a split and your hips turn sideways in almost a straddle position. So when you do this, one thing that you can do, which it's definitely going to be easier on carpet, is to get in this position and put your hands on your hips and slide forward and try to make sure that your hips don't turn out. Another thing that we look for in our splits is that when you're all the way in your split, you want your back knee to be turned under. You don't want to be out to the side so that I can see your knee, okay? Turn that kneecap under. Make sure that your heel is facing to the ceiling. You should repeat this on both sides. Gymnasts always have one side that's better than the other, but your goal should be to try to get both sides flat. And of course, don't forget about your straddle splits. You can do those as well. Another thing to challenge you guys and also to help with your flexibility is to grab a couch cushion or something that's a little bit elevated off the ground. We're going to use our block here. You're going to put this down, and what you want to do is you want to put your heel, your front heel, up on the block, or in your case a couch cushion, whatever you may have, and you want to hold your split. We call these over splits. We have our competitive team girls do these all the time. This works your muscles a little bit more. And you guys, if you hold this and you do this and you're diligent about it, you guys can probably get a flat split and it's nice and easy. So one thing that you can do is you can do this while you're watching TV. Every time a commercial comes on, you guys can get in your splits and hold it. And then on the next round of commercials, you can do the other side. You can also do these with your straddle splits as well. You can put one leg up on the block and slide into your straddle. All right, so now we're gonna move on from stretching and go into some other things that you guys can do at home.
All right, so some more things you can do. We talked about in the Shooting Stars video how to make a beam on the floor with some painter's tape or string or something of that nature. So we have our beam right here that we laid out. So things that you should be working on beam are T and T outs and handstands. That's really what we need for our competitive team. What we'll do is first we're going to start off with some walks. Then we'll do a little cross mat on the beam. So high toes, arms up. You'll go on your high toe and just walk. The whole time you're doing the beam workout on your beam, please make sure you're trying to stay within the lines of the beam. So it's like you're actually on one of our beams. The next thing you can do is kicks. So you'll go on high toe and you'll just kick. The next thing is backward kicks. So you'll just arms out to the side, kick backwards. And then we have bunny hops. So arms up in the air and you'll bunny hop going down. Since you guys are more advanced, you can do long jumps. So you'll start with your arms up in the air and you'll bend forward and push and try to jump farther forward. We also have grapevines. So you'll put your arms to the side and cross backwards and out and forwards and out. And you can do that back and forth a couple of times. And then, so we'll go ahead and do some T-ins and T-outs. So the main thing is you want to start in your lunge. We talked about the lunge position in our earlier video. So you'll start in your lunge like this. You're going to lean forward, so you do a T. See how she's in a T position? You'll touch the floor and you'll come right back up into your lunge. So those are really tricky, especially on beam, because you're trying to keep your balance on one foot. So really work on trying to stay in the lines of the beam and keep your arms covered, your ears covered, arms fully extended. The next thing we'll do is we're going to do our handstand. So when you do your handstand, you want to make sure you would put them like you're gripping the beam. So you'll start in your lunge and you'll kick to your handstand, hands go down, kick up, hold it, and come back. Parents, you can help them with that by holding them up. The other thing you can do is side handstands. That's one of the dismounts that you can do. So you'll start in your lunge and you'll kick to the side, legs together, and then come down. Okay? So those are some things you can do on beam. The other thing you can do, we worked on bridges a couple weeks ago on beam. You can lay down, push up to your bridge and hold it. And then another thing that we do is pivot turns. Those are important on beam. So if you do a lock position, you'll step forward, you'll go on toe. Your front foot heel is going to be resting on your back foot, the top of your back foot, and you're in your lock position, arms fully extended, and you'll just pivot. And then you can step forward and pivot again. So those are just some things that are important as far as our beam workout. You can also do, you can start in your squat like you would as if you just did your mount. You can put your arms up, stand up. You can do some sort of walk or jump to the end of the line, and then maybe do like a cartwheel or a round off the beam like you would here during class. So those are some beam things that you can do at home while Coach Taylor's going to go over some more things for you guys to do at home.
All right, so the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of work on jumps and also some turns. We'll start off with turns. So remember we had that lock position that we did on beam for the pivot turn. You wanna make sure that you're stepping forward and going up into that lock nice and tall. You're squeezing your bottom and your tummy. I would recommend you try to hold this position for the count of 10 and then try to pivot and hold it again. Another thing that you guys can work on is a half turn where you're gonna put your favorite foot out in front of you. You're gonna put your arms like this, and then you turn and you grab your beach ball and throw your beach ball in the air. That's how I normally teach my kids. You're gonna start like this. You're gonna try to go up one toe and stay on toe, step forward and finish, and put your back toe under behind you. So remember, you wanna try to get your foot all the way around when you turn, and step forward. You never wanna step backwards. And then of course you can move on to a full turn. You can try more than that, it's up to you guys. But the main thing is you want to try to stay up on your toe and get your foot all the way around when you turn. So now we're going to move into jumps. Of course you have your basic straight jump, but one thing that I want to talk about with this is that your straight jump is actually the beginning of your back handspring. So when you're jumping, you guys should not be bending over in half and then trying to jump. I see a lot of kids try to do that. So one thing that you want to do is whenever you're jumping, no matter what you're doing, you want to use your legs. So bend your legs. Bring your arms down and bring them up quickly to your ears, okay? So when you're working on a back handspring, your arms are up, you sit in your chair, and then of course you would jump up and lay back to do a back handspring, okay? So you can work on straight jumps to help you with that. Just make sure you're bending, jumping, and try to land and stick it. Try to hold it here and then finish. And then we can move on and do tuck jumps. So of course you guys know when you're tuck jumps, you want your knees up in front of you. You don't want to kick your bottom behind you. So same thing, bend those legs and jump up, finish. And then you can work on straddle jumps. So same thing, bend your legs go out to the side. And on this, you want to try to land with your feet back together before you land. So you don't want to straddle and land with them apart. Try to get your feet together. And then another thing you guys can try is a split jump. So same thing, bend your legs, do your split, and land. Then to make this even harder, you can go back to the beam that you made with Coach Tegan and try to do all of these jumps on the beam and keeping one foot in front of the other while doing it on the beam. So if you're here, you can try a split jump and try to land on the beam, okay?
All right, so I think that about wraps up what you can do at home. Parents, if you are okay with it and they go outside and want to tumble a little bit, the most I would let them do is a round off maybe in the yard. Make sure before you guys tumble in the yard, if you ever tumble in the yard, you walk the path that you are going to be tumbling on. Make sure there's no rocks, no holes or dips or anything. Make sure there's nothing that could go in your foot. But if you wanted them to do some round offs, just make sure when you're doing your round off, you're doing a little run into it. Make sure you do your hurdle that we've been practicing, and then put your hands down and land on 2 feet. So we're really encouraging you guys to do a run into your round off so you get more power. I would avoid doing back handsprings at home. We prefer you to do those here in the gym just because we have the proper equipment for it. So as far as running, tumbling, I think that's all I would do. You could always work on your handstand fall to bridge as well. So kicking up to your handstand and then falling into your bridge and holding it nice strong arms. And then you can try to stand up. Coach Taylor's gonna go over some exercises for you guys to do at home. So she's gonna show you guys what you can do.
So another big part of doing gymnastics is having the strength to do it. And one thing that our competitive team girls do is they work out a lot. They do a lot of conditioning because you have to have strength to do all of the things that they do. So one of the most important muscles that we have in gymnastics is your core muscles. So your core is involved in everything that you do. It helps you balance on the beam, it helps you get that pullover on bars, It does a lot of things for you. So we're gonna start off. You can grab, we have like a yoga mat here. You can lay on your carpet if you have it, a rug, whatever you have. And I would suggest doing toe touches. So you lay on your back, you're gonna put your legs up in the air and you're gonna reach up and try to touch your toes. I would do this, I would try to do at least 20. And then you guys can also make it fun and do a straddle and reach in between your legs. So I would try to do 20 of those, and I would try to do it 3 times. You can also make a circuit with your exercises, which is another thing that our girls do. Another good exercise for you guys to try, it's a little bit difficult, a little bit challenging, is a burpee. So with that, you jump up, you come down, and then you can do a push-up and jump back up. So if you guys can, I would try to do as many as you can, and then keep that number going if you're making a circuit out of it. So you would do your 20 toe touches, you would do your burpees. I would aim for 10 or 8, and then you can go into our last thing, which is ankle strength. So you guys should definitely try to do some calf raises. So you have your feet together, you want to go up on your toes and come back down. So you want to make sure that when you're doing this, you're taking your time and going slow and going all the way up. You don't want to sit there and go like this. So try to come all the way up and down. I would try to do 20 of these as well. When you do this, make sure you watch your ankles and make sure your ankles aren't going out to the side, because we want to make sure that when we're on toe, our ankles are nice and straight and they're squeezed together. So I would try to do all of this together, each different one, and do it as a circuit, and do that whole circuit 3 times. That way you can work on everything that you need for strength for gymnastics.
All right, guys, well, I think that is it for our Novas and SuperNovas video. Remember to check out the Shooting Stars portion to get a full refresher for the basics, and then watch this one to build onto that. We hope to have you guys back in here soon. We're hoping the gym is open very soon, because we miss you guys. But you guys stay safe, and we will leave you with our germ-free chant. Instead of putting our hands in, we will do Novas and SuperNovas. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Novas and SuperNovas! Woo! All right, thank you guys.